I got a message for my entrepreneurs out there that are struggling, that aren't feeling seen. I don't know what exactly I'm going to say, but I felt like I needed to say something. Now, I did a spread for what's going on. I have a few entrepreneurs that reach out to me, and we do sessions, but I wanted to know what the energy was behind it. And so I'm looking here at this card here. It says codependent, obsession, possession, controlling, has blocker, restraint. And by the time that I got through all these tarot cards, I realized that this block or restraint is we allow our past, our history, our traumas to rule what we're passionate about. Um, we allow it to rule what exactly we want to heal. And part of it is healing our hearts. We choose businesses and things like that to heal our hearts, right? That's what I do. And I think that's the way that the divine has it set up. But what happens is we get in these almost magical mindsets to where we think if we just tell ourselves enough positive things that it's going to heal what's broken. Sure, that is a part of it. But we need to understand that the trauma isn't going away. We're learning we're learning, see, I feel a block in my throat chakra right now. We're learning to cope with what we've been through. We're learning to understand what we've been through and the mindset of what the people who have caused that trauma upon us understand why they did it. And so we can find forgiveness. Until you do that, whatever you're trying to sell to people, you might feel a sense of being defeated. Not everybody goes through this. Some people are really good salesmen and they really know how to sell a lie. They could sell, I don't know, they could sell air. That's what I'm saying. But right here it says it needs time, takes time to heal and progress. You get these customers or people who stab you in the back, who talk smack about what you're doing. It can be a defeating process for any new entrepreneur. But even though you're passionate and you love what you do, there's going to be times where you're not going to feel enough. And what's hard is when they tell you to develop a relationship with your customers. It's hard to set boundaries and define what that relationship is going to be because some people don't want to commit to somebody who's not going to better their life or invest in them as well. We don't like one-way relationships. And a lot of times when you're an entrepreneur, you are building a one-way relationship. And that's what it could feel like. But Spirit is saying to love yourself because we have the Ace of Cups here as well. Invest in yourself. Because what I see right here is a merchant, someone who's put their orders out into the universe. They love what they do. They have a newfound love, new sense of self. But yet right here with the Three of Swords, they're heartbroken at the same time. And so when we feel like we're not enough, we run from those that cause us that pain, which is good. I mean, honestly, you don't need to be around people who are going to cause you heartache and pain when it comes to your business. We have empath, narcissist paradigm, but there is a shift, which is a good thing right here. There is a shift that is happening, but I want you guys to hold on. Okay, you are leveling up. This mask right here because we have the Seven of Swords, which means lies, deceit, um, strategy, running away. We have the runner right here. Not showing true feelings. And it doesn't have to be out of maliciousness. It's just out of self-preservation and protection of one, I get it. I definitely get it. And you're going to meet a lot of people who don't understand your passion and your love because they haven't been through what you've been through. So entrepreneurs, it's time to tap into your empathy and get to know your customers, get to know your people. And and you're going to figure out why they need this product or why not. But don't guilt trip them into not buying what you're trying to sell. You don't know what they've been through. You haven't been in their shoes. Now, I've studied with Grant Cardone, and this is the number one thing. This is the huge thing that I had a problem with when I was starting to sell, because I just wanted to be the best. I wanted to make everything flashy, and that was just going to attract people. The brighter, the better. I even took psychology of, when it comes to marketing. I know that reds and yellows, you think about McDonald's. Red creates desires and yellow creates attraction. But the color red psychologically creates that desire to consume. So all my marketing was done in these colors, right? Only to attract consumers, people who were there for a good time, not a long time. I'm not going to attract investors if I'm making everything flashy. I'm not saying that it doesn't work, but it's not going to work for whatever you're trying to sell. If you're selling a high ticket item, it's got to come from the heart and it's got to serve the person. Things take time. Investments take time. I have the Seven of Pentacles here. In the reverse, it represents failure. But in the upright, what it represents is, imagine a gardener planting their seeds. And every seed is a person. And they got to tend to it. They got to make sure it's getting enough water. They got to make sure it's fertilized. But they can't do it all at once. It takes time. The sun's got to beat down on it, give it its vitamin D or what it's, I don't know what the sun does to it. I haven't studied all that. That's someone else's photosynthesis. Is that what that's called? As I'm looking at my plants right now, and they're just loving the sunshine on them. But it takes time. History will always repeat itself. Anything worth investing in has always taken time to sit down, to look at the past, to look at how it would help and how it's going to change the future. A lot of times we get stuck with these people who tell us to forget the past. Yeah, forget the past. The past is in the past, but in order to really grow, you got to pull the past back up. You've got to talk to the past and see where exactly it went wrong and how the cycle was so repetitive. And it starts with you. To be the example. A lot of entrepreneurs, I know you're healing. I don't know who this message is for. I really don't. I got a lot of entrepreneurs on my page. I don't know who it's going to reach, but I just want you to know that you are amazing. It's okay to be you. Matter of fact, I want you to be you. Your customers want you to be you. They want to see how you thrive and you live. They don't want to be sold a gimmick. They don't want to play that runner chaser game. You know, the way that marketing is done is really outdated because we have outdated thinking, conditioning, and replaying events. And that is it's a karmic energy here. Where's that card? Right here. It's a karmic relationship. When you're going from person to person to person trying to sell them a mask, just something that you think is going to mask their pain, it creates a karmic bond and a karmic relationship. So eventually they're not going to think much of you. What people do want is a twin flame relationship. Someone who's going to light their fire, okay? Who's going to help them balance their life out. You want customers that are going to compliment you, who are going to edify you because you're doing something right. And in this world today, not everybody likes someone who wants to do something right if they're not ready to heal that part of themselves. Because people don't want to pull up the past. And the reason why I bring this up is when I was studying with Grant Cardone, there was a part where he was saying, if they deny you, I had to ask him, if I had something that was going to help you with your problem, would you give me at least 5 minutes to tell you about it so you could make a decision about it? It's been so long since I've studied with him and since I've been marketing in that fashion, so give me a minute. And if they would say no, you would actually address that and say, why is it that you would deny something that would help you? You had to get into their psyche. Some people, that'll work. The right people, that question will work because those people want to do better. And so right now I want to talk to the entrepreneur who is facing those type of people who don't want to deal with that hurt. Those aren't your people right now, but later on they will be your people because things take time. Healing takes time. Their toxic relationships and addictions with themselves. It has nothing to do with you. It's a decision that they have to make. A lot of times people don't want to deal with it today. They're still angry about what happened to them. They're still angry about the last thing that they bought that was supposed to help them and make them feel better. Only to find out that either everybody else is doing it or it didn't really help them. People want the education, but they don't want to take the time to educate themselves. Because time isn't on our side right now, okay? And a lot of times there are so many options put in front of them that it is overwhelming. This is why you must develop relationships with your customers to understand if it's even going to be beneficial. I want you to continue to keep going and keep growing. Because when you do, you're going to find people who are going to fall in love with you, who have faith in what you do. Okay? And once they discover the truth about themselves and whatever product it is that you're selling that's going to help them, you're going to develop a new relationship. They're going to renew themselves and transform themselves by investing in themselves. Don't be hurt because they don't invest in you at that moment. And I know I sound like a hypocrite right now because honestly, in my life, I've had people who have come to me for free services, and they will lie and say, oh, I'm going to pay you, I'm going to pay you, I'm going to pay you. So on blind faith, I just give them a service, and then they tell me how wonderful I am, and then I'll ask them for a review. Give me a testimonial, write this out for me, and they won't do it. It didn't cost them anything, and they took that information and they didn't change their lives. They didn't invest in themselves. If they would have put their money where their mouth was, they would have taken what I was saying and the advice that I was giving them, the product that I was selling, that I was feeding their soul, and they would have taken that and used it. If they're not willing to invest in themselves, move along to people who do want to invest in themselves. Now, you are going to get a lot of people who want what you have, but just aren't ready for what you have. And they have to go through this growing process and heal and be like, you know what? Okay, if I want this, I have to make XYZ amount of changes in my life in order to get that. And that's what being the Phoenix is all about, is rising from the ashes. You know what you got is fire. But what happens when we get tested by the fire? It don't feel good, right? A lot of times you're offering something that is going to change this person's life, and they're not ready for it. It's like, it sounds good. I want it so damn bad. Yeah, I want that. I want what's good for me. But once they get it, they don't know what to do with it. It's just like praying for that husband or that wife or whatever you're praying for, and then you actually get it and you're not prepared for it. And then you get scared and then you run away. We have a runner-chaser dynamic here. A runner-chaser dynamic. And then with the karmic relationships right in here, this is exactly what's going to happen. When you elevate, let me pull this out. I want you to see this. You don't treat them like options, okay? Yes, they are one of your many options. But when you do that, when you run away from all these options that are stringing you along and things like that, you're creating a karmic relationship. You're sitting in karmic energy. And that is a low vibration. That's where you're going to receive your frustration, your anger. Your ego is going to get in the way. And that's what's going to get the best of you. Okay? That's why you have these triggers and you run. And you create resentment towards those people. Because your passion is in the game. You become what you're selling. It's a representation of you. And so, yeah, it's hard not to get in your ego and be offended by it. But it wasn't meant for them at this time. Not everybody's meant to go the direction you're going. If they were, then what you're doing wouldn't be so special now, would it? Your mission wouldn't be so special. So, allow them, when you let go of this karmic energy and allow them to follow you, you become the leader in your own life. You are going to grow. You are going to get that stability. We have leveling up here. You deserve the best. Major improvement, doing inner work, and dealing with past hurts. But it takes time. Okay? I see a lot of great things coming for you, but you got to be patient with yourself. and understand that you are growing too through this entire process. Also, you're going to put your foot in your mouth a lot of times when you're a new entrepreneur. You're going to say some things that you don't mean because you're not living in your truth, but they sound good to you at the time, but they really weren't beneficial for anybody. I do that a lot. Yeah, do I get embarrassed by it? Yeah, because my ego's in it. Matter of fact, I had someone post on my post under one of my pictures today saying that they couldn't understand what I said. And part of me wanted to delete that message because it was embarrassing. And it's like, well, what didn't they understand? Was it because my Spanish wasn't clear, my English wasn't clear? Were they confused? But then I remembered somebody else's post that I had commented under stating that I couldn't understand what they were saying. So what goes around comes around. It's the whole point of karma. What you dish out, you got to be able to take. And when you come out of this karmic energy, you're going to attract those of your tribe. People who see what you're doing, understand what you're doing, and believe in what you're doing. But it takes time and it takes education. It takes baby steps. You can't throw a big ass juicy steak in front of an infant and say, chew on this. Just because somebody's 50 years old doesn't mean they haven't matured. They haven't healed. A lot of them are sucking on a bottle at night. Not in reality, but emotionally, spiritually, and psychologically. They're infantile. They're not going to see what you see. It takes time to mature. And this is a spiritual game, honestly. If you are selling something that is truly benefiting people, not to just entertain them, but to help their minds get right, to help them grow, to be a better society, you're switching up the game. And people don't want to come out of their comfortability, if that's even a word. Not everybody want to come out of their recliners. Okay? So be patient on yourself. Be easy on yourself. I love you. And I really hope this message helps somebody out there. If it did, please give it a heart. Please let me know that this message didn't go in vain. All right, y'all. So the message is, don't run when shit gets real. Don't sabotage the end just to avoid hurt. Okay? Because you think people are actually going to see you for you. Don't be scared of that. You're amazing. And if you're scared of what's being illuminated, the dark things being illuminated about you, that's okay. Let that be part of your testimony. It's okay for emotional intimacy with others. That doesn't make it sexual in nature. But as you grow and you heal yourself, you will be able to heal others. You will level up. You will elevate. And that's why we have the Phoenix next to this card here. You do deserve the best. There's going to be a major improvement because you did the work by dealing with your past hurts. You're entering into a new phase. New skills, new understanding, a transformation. Your mind is being renewed, and you're going to meet people and find people who complement that. People that are of your soul tribe, who have the same passions, who match you.